no one really talked about how she would feel on the inside. She grew a human for 9 months, went through a pretty intense procedure and the most grueling physical activity of her fucking life. And while it makes complete sense to be worried about the physical recovery of her body, no one gave a shit about helping her understand how she may feel on the inside. And the scariest thing about this for me, as a man who never has to have a baby, but is familiar with mental health and how serious it is that during the most quote unquote magical time of a woman's life, she could feel her absolute worst. And it has nothing to do with her as a human or her as a mother or her as a person. It's chemicals, it's natural, it's normal. And the thing that pissed me off more than anything else is that when the nurse, whose job it is to come in, make sure you're ready for post-delivery care and you come into the clinic and you do all of the things, she said that you may feel blue for a couple of days, but it'll go away. That was her postpartum chat. It was probably 2 weeks before I realized there was anything going on at all. We were both so fucking tired. It really is an alarming experience. I still think about it. When we brought Q home, I was still getting high. Like passing out without control high. So I was really, really tired, yeah, but I wasn't doing as much as I should have, and that's on me. But Wit had never experienced anxiety or depression before. She didn't know what it felt like. She's been through some shit in her life. She's very strong, very resilient. But after a few weeks, I noticed this isn't just her being tired. Like she's hiding something. She would snap here and there. And again, it kind of felt like, well, look at what she's doing. She was trying to breastfeed for a few weeks. It was painful and it wasn't really working. I was doing a bunch of research and I was like, you don't need to do this. I know you feel obligated to do it, but you don't need to do it. A lot of people have been feeding formula to their kids since the beginning of fucking time. Like, I trust science and I don't want you to go through all of this. But like, they fill you up with that shit, even at the hospital. They said the same thing, the nipple Nazis. They were very anti-formula. We mentioned it and they looked at us differently. You're supposed to be providing us care. Stop. Get your fucking judgment out of here. But I convinced her. And the best part about that in my eyes is that now I get the help. A dad in the first 3 to 6 months, like you feel fucking useless. Your wife is hyper-focused on your baby. Your baby is hyper-focused on your wife. That's natural. We don't really know what to do. There is something we can do. It's the entire point of this video. I recently talked to a friend who had a baby. I was curious how they were making out. And I feel like a lot of men, they don't see it, or maybe they don't want to see it, but it's really easy to look at your newborn baby as your wife's job, the mom's job. I felt it too. And when we had our second baby, it was different. I was like, no. I'm pushing my way in there. You are fucking taking a break. You are going to whatever you want to do to relax. You go sleep. Do whatever. I was at work all day. Like for anyone on maternity leave, if your wife is on maternity leave, when you get home from work, that's when work begins. Going to work is a break. And if you think for a second that being off on maternity leave is easier than any job in the fucking world, you are wrong. There are certain things that we think we know and we do not know anything about, and that is one of them. So, as an aside, my brothers, if you are hearing this and your wife is on or about to be on maternity leave, start asking her, what would you like that would relax you? What would make you feel good? What would recharge your battery? And make it happen. Don't hope she takes you up on it. Don't wait until she says she needs it. Force her to do it. I can only imagine, because I'm not a woman who had a baby, but I can only imagine they would feel immense guilt and shame if they took a day off within the first month. They deserve more than that. You look at what their body goes through, you look at what their brain and their heart and their soul goes through, and you add in any kind of hiccup to that, like my wife trying to breastfeed and it not really working, she would have felt like a shitty mom, a shitty woman, a shitty person. And none of it was her fault. She is an incredible mom and she's an incredible person. We have no idea what that would feel like. We can't know. We can't. Biologically, we cannot know. It's frustrating to think about. It's frustrating to think about because, like, my wife's stubborn. Thankfully, I got her to agree to formula feed and I was able to go in the night. She was still way better at that than me. I was still getting high. So I was sleeping through alarms. I was sleeping through my baby crying and needing to get out of his crib. I already told one horrific story about that. There's more. If I wasn't high, I would have seen it earlier, but I didn't. And that's why I'm very passionate about this, because no woman should have to go through that. She was living with her husband and the co-creator of her child, and she probably felt so alone because I had drugs to go. Anything I needed to brush off my shoulders, work, the stress of a newborn, the fact that people don't really fuck for the first while, like all these different things that would have been adding. I don't know, I'm just going to go get high in the garage. I'll catch you later. She didn't have that. She doesn't use anything. Things didn't get better when we started to formula feed. She felt like she failed Quentin. And I'm going to keep saying that she didn't. I think it was the best thing we ever did. And before we had Sage, we agreed we're just going to go formula from day one. Give a fuck what a nipple Nazi says. I don't care who judges us. It was probably a month, maybe a month and a half. Based on the nurses, she'd be feeling fine. Those blues are gone, long gone. They lasted a couple days. We were snapping at each other a lot. We weren't sleeping. It was bad. But what really set it off and what really made me scared is that she came in and asked me a question when Q was napping. I don't remember the question. I don't remember how she said it. But I'm going to assume she didn't say it in any kind of negative or innocuous way. She just came in and asked me a question. But what I do know is that I would have answered in a snarky, half-engaged tone. Whether I meant anything by it or I was just tired or I was high but she snapped. Now, I've said it before, she's a strong woman. I wear all the emotions in the household. I'm the dramatic one. But she took the answer I gave her, started to walk out of the bedroom, grabbed a garbage can out of the bathroom, screamed through the door that if I didn't love her, to leave her. And she whipped that garbage can down the stairs. That might sound like a regular Tuesday night to some of you. But that's never really been us. It wasn't what she did. It was how she did it. And it was the tone of her voice. I've heard the tone of that voice before. I heard it in my best friend a long, long time ago, a week before he killed himself. I heard it in another one of my good friends. Damn near tried to kill himself multiple times. The end of the rope. It's a tone. Anyone's voice can hit it. It's a tone. I knew it. I felt sick to my stomach when I heard it. I don't care about the garbage can or the fact that she yelled. It was the tone of the yell. I can still hear it. But me being an idiot man, I was fucking angry that she yelled at me. So I think I went out in the garage and got high for a couple hours. So I was smoking and I was sitting there. And I kept playing that tone back. And eventually I didn't even remember what she said. I just heard the tone. I was like, she's in trouble. She needs help. She might listen to me. This is something I have experience with. I've made that tone multiple times. I was just too much of a coward to finish the job. But I know that tone, and I've made that tone. So once we all calmed down and Q went to bed for the night, I sat her down. We need to talk about all of this. I need to know everything you're feeling. She explained that she felt like a terrible person, a shitty mom. She was having scary thoughts. And that's when I went, wait, could this be postpartum? The nurses from the hospital, their voices played in my head. No, that's over. I mean, a week or two out, and as long as no one's dead, like, that's it, right? That wasn't it. So I did a deep dive research on postpartum, and it is scary. It affects everyone differently. I know some women, they never went through it, and God, they're lucky. She was going through it. So we talked through everything, all of her concerns. And I reassured her over and over again that these are all normal things to feel. I know it's scary and it sucks, but these are normal. Look, scientists, they all say that this is normal. And we will get through it. And we did. And it brought us closer together. And to this day, I've said the most honest you've ever been with me about what's going on inside was when you were at your absolute lowest. Past it now, so every once in a while I'll be like, hey, be nice if you'd share some of the good stuff going on. The most important thing to me from a man's perspective when it comes to postpartum, if you're not persistent in making sure her insides are okay, you're not doing your job. It is, again, quote unquote, magical time of a woman's life. The happiest time of your life. How dare you feel that way? That's all bullshit. And that makes it worse. How dare I feel like a bad mom or a bad wife or a bad human. My body's never going to be the same. I can't even feed my kids. All those things happening during the happiest time of their life, women probably feel like they're not entitled to those emotions. And that's fucking bullshit, right? So if you talk to your wife about about her feelings, if she just had a baby, I hope her answer is that she feels great and she's okay. But even if she says that, please ask 10 to 20 more times a day and just keep your eye on things. And do more. I wish I would have done more. Do more. There are so many things we'll never understand about what a woman feels and what she thinks when she just had a baby for those first 3 to 6 to 12 months. I don't care if you're working 12-hour days. You come home, you should be running the fucking household. It's not fair. It's not fair for them to be expected to do that. And just because they're doing it on autopilot doesn't mean that they want to. Women are stronger than us. And we have to interrupt those patterns to be helpful. I struggle with that every day to this day, but we both work full time. There's no womanly duties at the house anymore. If I'm not pulling 50-50, I'm not doing my job. And I'm not today. I'm a little better, but I definitely wasn't good enough when she was recovering from a fucking traumatic event. It's about finding ways for men to be better so that we can raise our kids to do better, especially our boys. And that starts with making sure their moms, whether you're together or not, are able to give your kids the best, their best. And that happens by helping them out way more than we all do. And there's so many reciprocating effects, right? Mom's got more energy, more time for the kids love it. Plus they get to see what a healthy, functional, cooperative partnership looks like. Most kids grow up to replicate their parents' relationships, whether they want to or not. So let's give them something good to replicate.